Alright, here goes our first weather observation. My name is Andrew Lange here. Going through our list of questions. Okay, so our location selected here is Sheep Creek Road, just off the University of Alaska Fairbanks campus in Ester. Right off near the intersection of Sheep Creek Road and the Parks Highway. In fact, you can see the UAF sign down there. I purposely chose this location because for its immediate surrounding, it's relatively rural. There's not much around, there's very little other activity or disturbance besides a highway going by and a bike path that's currently covered in snow. It's kind of a valley, I would describe this area as, although it does get lower beyond those trees, so it's more of a shelf of a valley. Either that, or maybe you could call it kind of a plain. Yeah, I guess its direction, if that's south with the sun, is it kind of slopes north to south, I guess, because that's the sun there. So it's not that close to mountains. There are some hills, but I wouldn't exactly describe them as mountains. Its altitude isn't really that high. It's higher than the city of Fairbanks by a fair amount, but also not that high. The location would be kind of densely wooded with small trees, except it's cleared out because it's a road alignment. The local vegetation, there's a lot of black spruce, a lot of poplar, a lot of alder, of course all snowed over and frozen for the winter. Obviously, anywhere in interior Alaska is quite far from the ocean, so it's definitely inland. There is a river that runs, you can't really see it, but there's kind of a stream that runs along there, on this other side of the road alignment here. And there's a little bit of a lake further down the road in that direction. I guess the only other noteworthy thing is that there's some man-made disturbance. I don't know if it matters or not. There's another road going that way and some railroad tracks, just in terms of location. The temperature, according to the iPhone weather app just now, before I started this video, is 31 degrees. Excuse me, actually 26 degrees it dropped, which is actually pretty warm for this time of year, all things considered. Fairbanks can get quite cold in the winter, however, this winter has been rather mild. However, within the next week, we're scheduled for in the teens below zero, so it will be getting cold, but we haven't had extreme cold yet. There is snow. I would say it easily snowed 6 to 8 inches overnight, just at a guess. It wasn't like this yesterday, so the snow accumulation in total, like, we'll try for an accurate depiction here. Of course, there's a snowbank there, and here's a bike path. It makes walking a bit of a chore, because this area hasn't really been plowed yet, so there's a fair amount. As far as sky cover, it's somewhat overcast. You know, I would say, I guess, probably close to 3/4 covered, so just broken sky almost. Except it's pretty thin, some of the clouds. As far as the clouds, I don't remember the types, but they're, if not the wispiest, they're fairly just continuous. Wind direction, looking at my finger here, I can't really tell, but it feels like it's coming from, I guess this would be the north then, if that's vaguely south, because of where the sun is at almost noon, 11 something in the morning here. Of course it's not precipitating now, but we may get more snow. Humidity, I haven't looked at the humidity index. It's a little wet, but it's a fairly dry cold, but it's not completely dry either. And visibility is definitely restricted within a mile or two by fog. Can't really see it very well, but over the hills, there's definitely a certain amount of fog, though honestly, even if as I've been standing here, I've been watching it lift over here, but we're also getting into the middle of the day. I guess really the only other noteworthy thing would be, as mentioned before, it's been a relatively warm winter. And even last winter was fairly mild, except for a few major cold snaps. And even last winter we had a record amount of snow. Local residents were shoveling off their roofs because of the amount of snow. So, for Fairbanks, which normally doesn't get much precipitation, we're getting snow definitely stacking up. Anyway, that's all for now.